Being Mexican-American, we are very familiar with our Mexican heritage because of the way we were raised.
Our moms cook Mexican food, our families follow Mexican tradition, but having lived our entire lives in the US means that there are things about daily life in Mexico that we've had to adjust to. So this could have been another Culture Shacks video, but really, it's more than that.
These are the things about daily life in Mexico that really made us adjust our habits and expectations. Like this first one. It's super strange to me that drivers rarely give pedestrians the right of way. Oftentimes, I see people waiting at the intersection when they have a crosswalk and the light is in their favor, but if the cars aren't obeying the rules of the traffic light and making up their own rules, people will wait until traffic has passed. And oftentimes I am the daring one that's daring to cross while there's still a car approaching. They're not speeding, I make sure they can see me, but also I can't wait all day for the traffic to stop. Especially in Mexico City. That's a huge problem.
By the way, I'm Kevin and this is Jenny, and welcome to our channel.
We decided to reverse migrate to our parents' homeland and have been living in Mexico for 3 years now. So don't forget to like and subscribe this video for more videos on living and traveling in Mexico. Now, this isn't true in all of Mexico. It's more so an issue in Mexico City. But I think this is one where the American part of me feels very righteous in that the pedestrians should have the right of way. And I get annoyed when cars don't yield to pedestrians when they should.
I can't tell you the number of times that I have to stop this girl because she's just walking across the street, not caring about traffic. But with time, I've kind of like give her respect for the courage that she has for crossing the street like that.
It's not that I don't care about traffic. It's that like if you don't, take the initiative to show them that you're gonna cross, they won't slow down. They won't stop.
So we're not recommending that you do the same, but I have though. I've kind of picked up on Jenny and kind of like, yo.
It's a bad habit that I've rubbed off on you because now I've started to be more cautious. It's been difficult to adjust to this new norm of like, you just gotta wait until the cars are done. And so now that I've gotten better at it, now you've adopted my bad habit. So we're struggling with this one.
Next is the lack of clean tap water for drinking in Mexico. In Chicago, we were privileged to have unlimited drinking tap water thanks to Lake Michigan. Actually, we spent some time in Colombia and we found out that a lot of cities in Colombia also provide clean tap water. That's not the case in Mexico. As a matter of fact, the 20 states that we have visited in Mexico, we have not seen a single place where we can drink clean tap water. So that means having to continuously restock on garrafones de agua. We go through about 2 of these a week between drinking water and cooking. And it's not that it's a big deal or a hassle, just another household task to keep in mind. Lots of people have a delivery service set up, or you can switch out the empty one for a full one at any OXXO.
Speaking of water shortages are a common problem throughout Mexico. We come from privileged backgrounds in the sense that we've never actually had to worry about how much water we used. We just worried about the water bill, but never about actually running out of water. Mexico's water crisis isn't new, but it does ebb and flow depending on the time of year, whether it's dry season or rainy season. And when it's dry season, it can be a very difficult time for a lot of parts in Mexico. Speaking of privilege, we also live in a privileged area of Mexico City, and our building has its own reservoir. So we experience less water issues than a lot of Mexico City and a lot of Mexico in general. But our building management does remind us that there is a drought happening, that there's a water crisis, and that we should still be very mindful of our water usage. So being cautious with our water usage isn't necessarily something new to us, because as a limited resource, something that I grew up being conscious of, but living in a place where there is a constant water crisis and I'm constantly being reminded of the drought and lack of water thereof is something that's a bit of an added concern and just something to think about. So we're definitely extra careful.
So in the US, right, you go to a restaurant, you tip. Now you go to coffee shops, you tip. So we're kind of used to the tipping culture thanks to the US. But in Mexico, I think it goes to another level.
It's gotten even more confusing. And I know we're not the only ones. I know the US is going through a tipping culture craze and confusion. But there have been situations in Mexico where we've been asked to tip that we did not expect to.
For example, the day that we got internet, actually, we went to go get internet at the mall. We ordered it, got a date. The dude never came, but we saw some dude on the street, and he...
It's not just some dude, it's the Total Play people.
The total... But he came up, put the internet, and then he brought like 2-3 other guys, and then it was kind of, once they set up our internet...
So it was a weird situation. Sorry to interrupt you, but let me help. It was a weird situation where we had asked Total Play to come schedule it. They kept no showing. So they kept not showing up in the times that they said they would. And when Total Play was installing for our neighbor, we asked them, well, since you're at our building, can you also do ours?
Oh, yeah.
They asked for permission. They asked their boss for permission, and they then did ours. And then they were walking out of our apartment very slowly.
Like in slow-mo, right?
Like dragging their feet, like, okay, thanks, bye. And I was like, okay, thanks, bye. And in the US, we had Comcast. We've never tipped the Comcast installation guy. But in this situation, after we closed the door and they left, we looked at each other and we're like, were they expecting a tip?
So we texted the guy that takes care of our building, hey...
like, is it customary to tip?
And he said, yeah.
We're like, really? Even the internet installation people? He's like, yeah, usually. And I'm like, okay, well, this one was a weird one because, you know, their service was failing, but also these guys weren't there to install ours. So it was like I don't know, it was a weird situation, but the fact that it's normal to tip the internet installation people, I was like, whoa, well, what else do we not know that is customary to tip for?
Like grocery baggers.
Well, that one in the US, I think, is now normal.
What else?
What else? The guys who watch your car
on the street.
The street. Make sure nothing happens to it. Protect the car from who? Sometimes it's from themselves. so you tip those people. Who else is there tipping for that we're not used to? Oh, one time our doorbell rang and I answered the phone because it's like a phone landline that connects to the doorbell speaker. And it was the street cleaners who said, hi, we're going around asking for tips.
Oh yeah, they were picking up garbage.
They were, the people who clean up the streets. And I was like, what? Never in my life have I ever thought of giving a garbage worker or a sanitary worker in the U.S. a tip, which now that I think about it, sure, maybe they merit one, but it's never something that's never crossed my mind. I was like, I didn't know that it was customary to tip your street sweepers in Mexico.
Pretty much any service that you get, you tip. It doesn't have to be a huge amount.
Even if it's a service that you didn't ask for, like they rang our doorbell and asked us to tip them, and I just thought that was strange.
At the end of the day, the advice that I got from my cousin is that every time you get a service, you just say, ven pa los chicles.
O pa'l refresco. O pa los taquitos.
Here in Mexico, you rely for OXXO for everything. Here, you can get phone service, you can pay for Netflix, you can pay for an Amazon order, you could also get like a credit card so you can pay an Uber credit so that when you use Uber, you use it as a credit. You could also pay your light bill, your gas bill, so many different things, even tuition. I don't know, there's a numerous amount of things. If I missed any, comment down below. Let me know what you use OXXO for when you're in Mexico.
Question for you guys. Have you been dreaming of a move to Mexico? Now is the best time to take that first step. From November 26th to December 2nd, you can get $100 off the Complete Mexico Relocation Guide. The Complete Mexico Relocation Guide helps you take the guesswork out of moving to Mexico. The guide covers things like residency visas or dual citizenship, how to bring your household goods to Mexico, driving versus flying, how to get healthcare coverage in Mexico, scams to avoid, and much more. Plus, you also get access to their complete directory of vetted contacts across Mexico that help make your move a lot easier. Use the coupon code BLACKFRIDAY100 at checkout.
The best part about this Black Friday deal is the chance to win a private relocation tour valued at $500. 3 lucky winners will be announced by the Mexico Relocation Guide after Cyber Monday.
The relocation tour experience will give you an insider's view of life in which city in Mexico you're most interested in, helping you feel confident and excited for your relocation journey.
This offer runs for a limited time and you don't want to miss the chance to win this unforgettable experience.
The future you've imagined for yourself in Mexico is closer than you think, so grab this opportunity and start the adventure now. See the pinned comment and the description below for the details.
Another strange thing that we have had to get used to living in Mexico is carrying cash, and it has to be the right amount of cash.
Because despite living in a cash-dominated society, no one ever has change. It is such a hassle to get change for anything in Mexico, but everybody always prefers cash. Digital payments are difficult, and we'll get into that one next, but oh my gosh, God forbid that you have a 500 or even 1,000 peso bill.
Oh, tell them the story. Tell them the story about the 1,000
No,
peso bill.
I feel this is where I may have I may have gone a little bit too far. I think I was a bit rude in this situation, but I was so fed up. I went to Oxxo to pay the electric bill, actually. And I'm paying an electric bill, and I know it was like 57 pesos for the electric bill. And I wanted to pay with my credit card, but they wouldn't. They said this is a cash only type of transaction. Why? I don't know. I said, okay, fine. The only cash I had on me was 1,000 peso bill. The ATMs give it when I was getting paid in cash. I was being given several 1,000 peso bills, so that was all I had. I tried to hand the Oxxo cashier the 1,000 peso bill, and she refused to take it. Yeah. She said, no, I don't. She said, I don't have change for that. Yeah, and then she's like, you don't have something smaller? I was like, no. You said you don't take credit card or debit card, and you said you take cash only, so this is all I have. And so we just stared at each other awkwardly as I looked at her like this with my 1,000 peso bill in hand. And I said, are you gonna take this or not? And she finally took it unwillingly. And it was really awkward. And I felt really bad because I forced her to give up all the change that she had for probably her shift. But also, why are these bills circulating if no one wants to give cash for them? Not even these big chain businesses like Oxxo.
Yeah, and you get them all the time. You go to the ATM, you get out 4,000 pesos, 2,000 pesos, 1,000 pesos, and they'll give you a bunch of 500s and probably even 1,000 peso bills. So it's such a pain in the butt.
This has been quite the adjustment. This next one I thought was really strange at first, but now I actually really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it's the mail delivery situation or system in Mexico, where we're from. We were used to receiving mail every single day.
Spam mail all the time.
Credit card offers, coupons.
Internet offers, pretty much anything.
And most of it ended up going in the trash. It was just a huge waste of paper and a waste of time.
Here, you only get mail if you actually requested, like things like Amazon, Mercado Libre.
Packages, or your bills, or something that you're responsible for. You don't get mail daily, but if you do get mail, it's directly for you.
And you almost know it's coming, right? Because it's something that it's either repetitive or you ask for it. I've never seen anything in terms of like, oh, we have a Amazon promotion or we have some sort of taco promotion, which is strange, but it's just the mail system here.
So the reason we mention that is because we get a lot of questions from people about what is mail like in Mexico, because it's not the same as in the US or probably Canada. And so what I like about the mail system here is that it's like essentials only.
Yeah.
None of that extra fluff.
Making product returns in Mexico can be kind of awkward, borderline strange, you know? It feels like your mom is questioning why you're returning a product.
Like when we tried to return paper cups and paper plates we had bought them for an event got canceled, so we wanted to return them. We weren't going to use them.
They were still in their plastic container, and they were
original packaging. You had the receipt,
yeah,
right?
And they're like, why do you want to return this? Like, why aren't you going to use it? And it's like, because I don't need it.
Your mom questions you like that?
Yeah.
Not everybody's mom is like that, I don't think. I think just yours.
But yeah, it's just awkward. It's a very different experience. So when you're going to purchase something in Mexico, especially something that is going to cost a lot, you really want to think about whether you're going to keep it or not, or you're willing to go to the hassle to get your money back.
Because getting your money back really is an issue. We tried to cancel our couch order when I found out that I no longer had a job. And in order for them to cancel it, they said they were going to charge a 15% cancellation fee. I was like, well, then I'll just keep my couch and then just try to sell it later. I don't think I've ever been charged a cancellation fee anywhere else. And this is, again, coming from having lived a certain way, used to always, the customer's always right. And if I want to return something at TJ Maxx, Ross, whatever store in the US, Best Buy, no questions asked. I just return it as long as obviously it's still in good condition. Even if I've opened it, a lot of times they'll still take it, but not in Mexico. That's been something that we've had to relearn and readjust and say, no, like if we buy something, that's it.
We're
keeping it because more chances are that they're not going to want to accept it back.
Another example with the couch as well. We purchased a couch and it didn't fit through our door, so we had to return it. When they returned it,
and they did allow us to return this one, by the way.
Yeah, we had used in our credit card from the U.S. and because it was a credit card from the U.S., they couldn't make the return
directly on the
to the card, so they gave us all the money back in cash,
which was strange. So, you know, a little bit off topic, but just I think interesting for you all to know if you're making purchases with an international credit card in Mexico. If you try to make a return, you'll probably get that money back in cash.
By the way, make sure to grab yourself one of these sexy shirts because soon our online store will be closing.
So the things that we talked about today are strange to us because of where we grew up and the way that we grew up. Like, even though inside of our home, our lives were very much Mexican, outside of our bubble at home in Chicago, systematically, the world was very different. Yeah. And now in Mexico, we've had to relearn and readjust the way we do certain things. But now it's just a part of our daily lives. Thanks for joining us. If you made it to the end, drop the US and Mexico emoji for us. Viva Mexico y Viva USA.
Se cuidan, se bañan y nos vemos hasta la próxima. Ciao.
That was weird. I don't know why I said that.
I don't know why you said Viva USA.
I was like, cool, let me know if you need anything else. If they ask why I live in Mexico, right? For a better life. To make them go, what the fuck? Oh, wait, you're recording that.
Oh, shit.